Hey, Professor Hitch here, and today I want to talk to you about transitions, aka all about connecting paragraphs. Okay, let's get started. The first thing you need to know is that transitions can be both words, phrases, and even whole sentences. You may have previously heard of transitions as transition sentences. And if you have heard of it that way, you know that they go at the end of paragraphs. However, writers may use transitions within paragraphs or between paragraphs so that the ideas flow smoothly between sentences and between paragraphs. The idea of a transition is to connect things together. I'm going to flip pretty quickly through different types of transitions. If you're watching the video right now and you'd like to follow this a little more closely, look for a link to a Google Docs that has all of these transitions for you to use and peruse on your own time. The first three types of transitions I want to talk about are to add, to compare, and to prove. Notice with each of these types of transitions, not only are they connecting something together, but they're also showing a relationship. When I say equally important, or when I say furthermore, you know that I'm not actually done with the idea that I was just talking about. When I say something like in addition or evidently, you know that I'm trying to prove something. The next three types of transitions would be to show time or sequence, to give an example, to summarize or conclude, and much like the last three, these all show some kind of relationship between ideas. This relationship between ideas is incredibly important in the reading and writing experience. When you write an essay, you should assume that your reader will probably be distracted. A good rule of thumb is take however bored you were writing the essay and assume that your reader will be at least that bored reading the essay. Yes, even if that's the instructor. If your reader is going to be bored reading your essay, then you really better be holding your reader's hand and connecting the dots of your essay for said reader, or your reader will get back to you and say, I did not understand how this idea connected to that idea. The last two types are to emphasize and to repeat, both equally important types of transitions in an essay. You emphasize and repeat key terms that you want your reader to walk away with. Sort of like, if you, the reader, are going to skim my whole essay, and yeah, there's a chance that might happen, at least make sure you know these three things. That's it in terms of instructional content. There isn't a whole lot to cover when it comes to transitions because really they connect and you simply have to start working on connecting ideas, and you do that using the words in these three slides. Again, if you'd like to see these words in greater detail, check out the link to the Google Docs with all of these words listed. But rather than end here, I'd like to take us through a quick transition exercise. Take a moment to read the following paragraph. You may want to pause the screen or listen as I read out loud. Exercise is really good for one's physical and mental health. It is proven that aerobic exercise is good for the heart, which is very important to overall health. Strength training is important for maintaining muscle mass and improving bone density. Both muscle mass and bone density can decrease as we age, so improving them through strength training is important. All kinds of exercise have been shown to relieve depression, anxiety, and stress. There were a lot of ideas addressed in this paragraph. We have some information about aerobic exercise, some information about strength training, and also some general information about exercising in general. This is a paragraph that needs, it wants, desires transitions. So take a moment and think, where would you put your transitions? I'm pausing so you can think, but now I'm going to move on to the answers. So These are not the only right answers. You could transition in a number of ways, but the answers that I have here for you are first, second, and finally. It shows a progression of ideas. First, I'm doing this. Second, I'm doing that. Finally, okay, now I know that the list is done and we're going to come up with like the main point of this list. There you go. That covers transitions. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful.